This just in from Jeff Senlu at Big Boy Pants Golf. Easy to get what you're trying for, to be the controversial bad boy real talk of YouTube golf content. You're just so plain easy to see through and how jealous you are of others who are actually having success. Good luck, bro. Seems like your free time is being very well spent. Just a shame YouTube throws your trash videos into related content of stuff we are actually interested in. In the latest episode of Real Talk with Golf YouTube's bad boy, Big Boy Pants Golf, we're going to dive into the latest accusation by Brandel Chamblee of Patrick Reed cheating. I've shown you in two other videos that Patrick Reed did not in fact cheat at Torrey Pines when he moved the sand. Yes, the sand moved, but there was no intent, and thus he didn't cheat. And now we're focused once again on whether Patrick Reed intended to cheat when he identified a ball in a tree that potentially wasn't even the tree his ball could have gone in, according to super sleuth forensics expert Brandel Chamblee. Yes, the Wile E. Coyote of golf analysts is back, and he's still trying to catch that roadrunner Patrick Reed. After this episode of CSI Golf Channel, whose side will you be on? Brandel Chamblee's or Patrick Reed's? I saw Brandel post his analysis on Twitter this morning, and I responded to Brandel Chamblee with, go check out the Big Boy Pants Golf YouTube video on Brandel going after Reed about Reed's embedded lie at the Farmers a few years ago. Brandel goes full CSI Vegas after stating that none of the actual rules officials on the scene had an issue with Reed's drop.
From the camera angle and Brandel Chamblee's CSI golf investigation.
Yes, it's possible that Mr. Short Game Golf and I both had parallel thinking about the CSI reference. But for the record, my parallel thinking came first. Here's the times. Mine is 6 hours ago. His video is 4 hours ago. Hence, I'm under the impression that Mr. Short Game Golf read my tweet. But what's odd is he didn't change his opinion about Patrick Reed's prior cheating accusations. Again, these were clearly covered in earlier Big Boy Pants Golf videos, and Mr. Short Game Golf should definitely watch these videos because this would wipe the Patrick Reed is a cheater slate clean.
Sort of better determine the path of the golf ball, and we're able to do that here. We're going to spot shadow it for you here in just a second. So here's the tee shot, and the cameraman does a great job of keeping the ball in view all the way through, and it disappears right there, but you couldn't really see what happened to it.
I quote, you couldn't really see what happened to it.
And you couldn't exactly see where it was, but if we slow this down just a little bit for you, you can clearly see the ball.
I'm waiting for the next video where Brandel Chamblee takes one of those UV lights and goes to Patrick Reed's hotel room and just kind of flashes the UV light over his bed sheets, trying to find more crimes.
Right, and it looks like it disappears in that first tree. But again, when we zoom out, you see in these palm fronds, there are scores of golf balls in there. And since most professional golfers predominantly play Titleist Pro V1s, it's reasonable to assume it's littered with Pro V1s in there. But again, we're going to slow this down and spot shadow it for you. So there's the golf ball. You can clearly see it as it's descending down.
Did anyone else think of the same type of circles they use when they point out potential UFOs in the sky?
Right, we're just going to follow the path of this golf ball, and as it gets closer, we're going to slow it down even more for you.
You can picture Brandel Chamblee pouring through the footage, slow-moing everything down to maybe finally prove that Patrick Reed's a cheater.
And you can see that first tree right there. Okay, now the one he said it was in was the third one over there, the one farthest to the left over there, and it disappears in this first one.
So in a cluster of 3 trees, did Patrick Reed pick the wrong tree? I'm betting at this point, Brandel Chamblee contacted a lawyer in Dubai to see if he could press any charges against Patrick Reed for picking the wrong tree. That would be the most fitting way for Brandel Chamblee to end this defamation lawsuit that Patrick has brought against Brandel. I'm sure Brandel's already checked out lawyersuae.com and noticed that there is an other crimes category. Potentially, Patrick Reed's misactions here, if you interpret them as such, could fall under other crimes. I wonder if Brandel Chamblee is right now sending out an email around the Golf Channel team titled, "Tell me more about flogging."
So let us back it up just a little bit. I'm going to just back it up. Now you can see the spot there. That's the golf ball. You can clearly see the golf ball, and it disappears right there in that first one.
Is this the third time that Brandel Chamblee has slowed it down and pointed out that it's in the first tree, at least according to his opinion?
All right, we'll back it up just a little bit. You see the golf ball there?
By tomorrow, Brandel and his team will have analyzed this video more than experts analyzed the JFK assassination video.
Right in the circle, and then it just disappears. Now we'll back it up. You can see that it just disappears right there.
No one do the old trick where you reach behind a person's ear and pull out a coin on Brandel. Otherwise, this guy's going to spend the whole night jumping up and down on one leg, waiting for coins to pour out of his head like a broken slot machine.
So for it to be in that third one, it'd have to be much, much higher up over there.
Yes, Brandel, because there's no way a ball could hit an object and bounce upwards.
And it would have to be much farther over to the left to get into that third tree.
At this point, Brandel's already Googling, what's the best material for flogging?
So it clearly disappears into that first tree. Now, if you're trying to make an argument for what that golf ball could have done, I guess it could have hit. Now remember, it's hitting T side of that tree, so it's likely going to bounce back to the tee or over to the fairway or over into the sand if it bounces.
Keep in mind, there's a huge difference between what is likely and what is possible, especially in terms of golf kicks and golf breaks. We've all hit crazy shots that should have been OB, but somehow hit a house and flew back into play.
But we didn't see it bounce. But it would have to, since it was then would be going somewhere in the vicinity of the tee, it would have to reverse directions.
So Brandel turns his likely hit the side of the tree on the tee side to it definitely hit the side of the tree on the tee side, and therefore has to go backwards. This is assumption on top of assumption on top of assumption.
Change speed, then start going towards the green again.
Brandel's completely blacked out at this point and is caught between X-Files and Ancient Aliens episodes.
Gain altitude, because that other tree, the prawns are higher in relation to where the prawns were in that one. Gain altitude, go through the limbs. As
Brandel goes through all the things that would have had to happen, and they're all unlikely, for that ball to end up in the third tree, all I can think of is Giovanni Ribisi's character in Flight of the Condor, where he says something like, "By science, a bumblebee shouldn't be able to fly, but it does." Interestingly, Giovanni Ribisi, one of the few times he didn't play a mentally challenged person. Unless, of course, in real life he was mentally challenged, and in the movies he's playing a non-mentally challenged person, just like Brandel Chamblee. Did Patrick Reed break the rules of golf? As the bad boy of golf YouTube, I don't even know what a rule is. But if he did break a rule, did it deserve to be a 2-stroke penalty or a 1-stroke penalty? Because as even Mr. Short Game himself points out, and he seems to think that Patrick Reed has in fact in the past cheated, in this case, it would have been a 2-stroke penalty because Patrick Reed would have had to re-tee. It's this weird bad luck break if your ball gets stuck in a tree in golf that somehow now it's like a OB shot. How does the punishment fit the crime in this case? Patrick Reed hit it at the trees and it was in one of the 3 trees. Then you have the fact that you have to definitively identify your golf ball. In today's day and age, how can we be certain about anything? So Patrick Reed has the rules official look through binoculars, and I don't know anyone who carries binoculars anymore, but this rules official is able to see that the ball that Patrick Reed thinks is his has Patrick Reed's little arrow mark on it. So the rule official clears it. Ball is back in play. Let's move on. Was LeBron hacked going for the layup? It's a little bit of a matter of opinion, right? I don't know. But in the end, I think Patrick Reed received the appropriate amount of penalty strokes for the shot he hit. A 1-stroke penalty rather than a 2-stroke penalty because he didn't hit it OB. Mr. Short Game Golf himself points out that this is actually a bad rule because it shouldn't be a 2-stroke penalty. He notes that a tree wasn't designed to be a catcher's mitt and catch balls, thereby resulting in a 2-stroke penalty. We as a golf community need to bring common sense rules back into play on the golf course and in life.